Hey everybody, one that was bored, never boring. As subscribers may know, I absolutely love Space Crusade. It is one of my favourite games of all time, and I've already done several videos on the channel where I've done an unboxing of the core game and I've played through several scenarios. I've also played through a scenario using special rules from White Dwarf magazine, which allowed me to play with a team of Terminators. And I have some more of those videos planned. But today, we're looking at something very, very special. We are looking at Space Crusade Mission Dreadnought. This is the first of 2 expansions for Space Crusade, and it is something of a grail for me. I never had this expansion when I was a child, and I am so happy to have it in my collection now. And the only reason I do have it is because of the kindness of subscriber Phil Devey, who contacted me saying he had a pretty much mint condition copy that he was happy to sell to me at a very, very good price. So thanks to that, I now have this grail in my collection and we can take a look at it on the channel. In this video, all I'm going to do is unbox it, take a look at all of the components and talk through what it's all about. But as I always do with these older products that are out of print, I'm going to try and make it as useful as possible by talking about some of the common issues and complaints you may find if you are purchasing a secondhand copy through eBay or another trade forum. First of all, before we even get into the box, let's talk about the box itself. As with the UK versions of the HeroQuest expansions, Space Crusade Mission Dreadnought comes in a tuck box, a very flimsy tuck box, and that does mean that quite often you will find this expansion without the box for sale. A lot of people would have taken out the components, assembled the miniatures, chucked all of the components into their core game box, and then disposed of this very flimsy tuck box. That may not be a concern for some people, but for those completionists who do want the box as well, you are going to pay a premium. Once you've opened the box, if you're really lucky, you may find a promo leaflet for other MB games. And you should also have this, the Space Crusade Mission Dreadnought Mission Book. And although it is called a mission book, it includes the rules as well. Do not expect 2 booklets. Do not think that you have missed out on a rules book if you do not have one in your box, because the start of this book has all of your build instructions for your new miniatures and your new board pieces. And then it goes on to explain all of the new rules for using the Dreadnoughts and all of the new cool Space Marine weapons that you have, which we will go through in a moment. And then right at the very back of this book, which I'm not going to show for spoiler reasons, there are 3 new missions. The missions are basically your team of Marines going into a Dreadnought factory, trying to find where the Dreadnoughts are being created and destroying it completely. Pretty exciting stuff. The expansion missions use the boards from the core game, but you do get 1 new tile. This represents the Dreadnought factory. And then you get these 2 wall sections which fit together in a cross, and they will be positioned like this. And then you will use your clips from the base game to attach them. And you also get these 2 corridor tiles. Additionally, you should have 6 of these bulkheads. These are used to mark exit points on the map, and also they are used to connect the corridors to the main board. They don't have stands as such, but you get 3 color-coded plastic clips. These are exactly the same as the black ones in the core game, which are used to attach the entry points to the main board, and you will use these along with the black ones from the core game to position your bulkheads on the map. You will notice that several times I'm referencing the fact that you will use components from your base game to attach these new pieces together, so don't think your expansion is missing components. Additional card components include 8 reinforcement tokens and 8 blip tokens. These are for 4 new androids and 4 new dreadnoughts. And finally, you get a new Space Marine data card. You only get 1. I feel like there should have been 3 in the box, but you do only get 1. On the front of the card is all of the information regarding the basic Marines from the core game. And on the reverse of the card is all of the information regarding the new weapons that come with this expansion. That is the fusion gun, the conversion beam, the las cannon, and the tarantula. These are extra heavy weapons that bring a lot more firepower to the table. They are designed for killing Chaos Dreadnoughts, but the downside of using them is that any order cards or equipment cards that affect heavy weapons do not affect super heavy weapons. For example, if you play an order card that says all of your heavy weapons can fire twice, your extra heavy weapons do not benefit from that order. But that is probably a small price to pay for the massive amount of firepower these bring to the table. The fusion gun shoots in a straight line and hits everything in that line. So if you've got a row of 3 enemies ahead of you, you can hit all 3 enemies. And for each enemy you roll 3 red dice, so that is probably going to be 3 dead enemies. Really, really killy. The conversion beamer is probably the most interesting weapon in that you will target a square that is in a straight line away from you and you will roll 3 red dice. The target square is hit by the total of those 3 red dice, but then you count backwards towards the firer, and each space between the target and the firer is hit by the value of the dice less 1 each time. I have just made a terrible hash of explaining that, so let me show you a diagram. As you can see, the target square is hit for a total of 6, all the squares around it are hit for a total of 5, and then we work backwards towards the Marine who fired the gun. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. What this does mean is if you use the conversion beam at a close range target, there is a very good chance that you will blow yourself up. For example, if our Marine had been standing here, he would be hit with a strength 3 hit, which would kill him. Next up we have the las cannon. The las cannon fires up to 3 shots. Each shot hits a 4 square area. You roll 1 dice and everything in that area takes damage equal to the roll. If you don't want to split your shots, you can combine them. So if you wanted to, you could make just a single attack rolling 3 red dice, or 1 attack using 2 red dice and 1 attack using 1 red dice, or 3 separate attacks each rolling 1 red dice. Finally, we have the tarantula, which is a mobile gun turret. It's like 2 las cannons strapped together. It has a firing arc. You have to have a marine gunner controlling it, moving it around, and you still get to take 3 shots, but you are rolling 2 red dice with each shot. I'm not going to go into all the intricacies of using the tarantula. We are going to move on because we have to look at some plastic goodness. Because these are more dangerous missions, for each team you get 2 new Marines, so you can now take a squad of 7 Marines into action. And of course they come with their interchangeable weapons. You get 2 new bolters, the ridiculously massive las cannon, the also ridiculously massive conversion beam, and yes, the ridiculously massive fusion gun. You only get 1 of each of these extra heavy weapons in each colour, but you get 2 of the bolters. You also get this. This is the tarantula control panel. If you have this, then you can drive the tarantula. And you get 3 of these bad boys, 1 in each colour. They come in 2 parts, like so. They just push together, and they are awesome. These are the things I think that everybody remembers most about Mission Dreadnought. They remember the Marines pushing around these huge tarantula gun turrets. I mean, would you argue with him? The expansion also comes with 4 new androids. These are exactly the same as the ones that come in the core game, and it makes sense they have added these in. You are attacking a mechanized Dreadnought factory. It makes a lot of sense to have extra mechanized enemies. And of course, androids are some of the scariest things you can face, so they are more capable of dealing with the extra firepower you are bringing to the table. And then you get Dreadnoughts. This is Mission Dreadnought after all. You get 1 of these. This is exactly the same as the Dreadnought that came in the core game. And I fitted him here with some of the regular weapons that you get in the core game as well. But you also get this ridiculous chicken-legged bad boy. A Dreadnought with slots for 4 weapons, and you will notice he also gets a fusion gun, a conversion beamer, and a las cannon. He has all of the same fun options as the Marines. Why shouldn't the Chaos player get to have some fun with these new weapons too? Obviously, with these 2 plus the Dreadnought from the base game, you have 3 Dreadnoughts to play with. And a special note on these, Do not glue them together, and if you are buying the Mission Dreadnought expansion, try to find one where they have not glued the Dreadnought together. The final mission involves you tackling the factory itself, where the Dreadnoughts are in production, and one of the special rules for that mission is that the Chaos player each turn will build part of the Dreadnought, so they actually assemble the miniatures as you play. You can obviously still play the mission with glued miniatures, but it's more fun if you have the miniatures in bits, and you can assemble them before the Marine's eyes. Oh yeah, you get 2 more heavy weapon dice as well. You're going to be throwing a lot more of them after all. But that is it, that's your lot. Although I would argue more than enough. This is a fantastic expansion. It gives your Marines a load of new weapons and a really challenging 3-part narrative mission for them to use those weapons in. Games become a lot deadlier, and you get to throw a lot more red dice, which is always fun. When I have looked at these online for sale, I've tended to notice that they are complete, but often without the box, as I mentioned. But if you are going to buy, double check all of the components included. Remember, for each of the Marine squads you get 2 new Marines, and then you get a fusion gun, a conversion beam, a las cannon, a tarantula, and 2 more bolters. Plus, importantly, the little control panel for the tarantula. Those are the things that you are going to find really hard to replace if they are missing from your copy. Because there's no spares, there's no doubles. There is exactly the amount you need. The only other thing that you might find is missing are a few of the reinforcement tokens or blips. That can be a problem. Obviously the blips allow the Chaos player to move miniatures around without you knowing exactly what they are, so unless you can proxy them with identical looking blips, you're going to be giving the game away somewhat. Fortunately, your core game of Space Crusade should have included a couple of plain blips that you can use to make replacements. But honestly, I think that's about it. I am, as you can probably imagine, so excited to finally have a copy of Mission Dreadnought in my collection. Thank you once again to Phil Devey for making that possible, and thank you to everybody who has sat with me and watched through this video. But that is it from me for now. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you've really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.